Here we go.
I remember it like it was yesterday, one case. I was fresh on the force with a thin mustache and a thinner wallet. But even back then, I had a sharp nose for hot leads. I was assigned to go undercover in the men's restroom at the Minneapolis airport. The rookies at airport security called me in. The professional did reports of certain men turning tricks with one another, if you're catching my drift. There was a pervert out there, and it was my job to find him. After staking out the bathroom stall, I'd managed to get my first bite, a United States Senator, Larry Craig. I could see a slender face staring at me through the gap in the door. I was stunned to my core. For minutes, he would...
An anti-gay senator caught sleeping with men reminds me of like season 1 of The Boys, where Madeline Stillwell blackmails that senator to put Soups in the army, and he says no. And she's like, well, what about this video of you sleeping with a fucking dude? Or whatever. And, except this guy's actually gay. That guy wasn't. Or maybe he was. I can't remember.
Fidget with his hands and then pop back up to look through the crack with those piercing blue eyes. And in that moment, I couldn't help.
And you know the gay community was pissed the fuck off at this dude. Oh, they were mad, right? You've been talking shit about us all this time, but been sucking dick behind closed doors? And you didn't call me? Oh, you know, they were mad.
But wonder, wasn't Craig a Republican senator from Idaho?
Oof.
Didn't he sit on the board of the NRA?
Republican. That's even worse. On the board of the NRA? A Republican, all for guns, all for the American way, anti-gay. And, oof. There goes your career, dog. Holy shit.
Was he about the tango with an undercover officer? Soon enough, I had my answer. Craig entered the stall next to me and placed his bag up against the front of the door. Interesting. For my time cleaning up these streets, he had done this to give himself a bit of...
If you're gay, just be gay, bro. That's it. It's not hard. But, no pun intended. But this guy was in the closet, fucking anti-gay as fuck. Fuck all that. We're not having that. And then he's just the biggest pole smoker of them all. Like, that's unbecoming. Bro, if you're gonna be gay, be the gayest one. No one's gonna judge you. I mean, I'm sure some people will, but I won't. But, Lord, you're just typical politician. Yeah, anti-gay, that's what he was.
of extra privacy for what he was about to do next. As I waited, I could see Craig's shoes, his pants, and got a waft of his cheap CVS cologne. And then bingo. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place. Foot tapping, that's the signal for men wanting to turn tricks in the bathroom.
So if you do see a foot inching closer or doing that infamous like tapping, which for those of you who need a translation means I'm looking for or am ready to give a blowy.
Looks like we hit a good lead today, Charlie. With every tap, he moved his foot closer to mine. Just like I'd learned at the academy, I moved my foot up and down slow, like a mating routine, and I was luring him in. I then caught a glimpse of his gold wedding band on his ring finger. You're telling me Craig's a married man, trying to get some bathroom action in a downtown airport in Minneapolis? I immediately thought about his kids, his wife, his traditional family values, and by then I had had it. So I showed Craig my police badge and pointed towards the exit. Craig responded, "No!" Without causing a scene, I threw on the cuffs and escorted Craig out of that bathroom. What a way to end the week. Craig kept asking me what was gonna happen, like a 5-year-old boy whining to his mama about his missing Pokemon cards. So I told him, "You're under arrest." I brought Craig down to the station and told him to get cozy and hand me over his ID. Instead, with a shit-eating grin, he handed me his United States Senator business card and asked me what did I think about that. I tossed his card to the ground and told him his money was no good here because no one plays me for a sucker and gets away with it. He then handed me his driver's license. Guess I'll be working late tonight. Now, after being arrested in a sting operation, fingerprinted, and even posing for mugshots with his American...
What did he get arrested for? Is this one of those... Is this like... one of those situations like from that movie, There's Something About Mary, where I forgot what they did in that movie, where it's like a whole bunch of dudes get caught. Like it's a whole bunch of gay dudes and truckers that get caught, and he's part of the mix or whatever. What did this guy do to get, because being gay is not against the law, so what did he do?
flag pin on his suit, Senator Larry Craig would quietly plead guilty to lewd and disorderly conduct for some of that same style action, you know what I mean. Now he would admit to it. He signed the guilty plea on the dotted line, just like Willy Wonka, and then told nobody about it. Not his wife, not his kids, not even his constituents. Now Senator Craig had gotten away with this. He had narrowly avoided a career-ending scandal, or so we thought.
Today, a Washington, D.C. political newspaper broke the story that Senator Craig was arrested in June in a Minneapolis airport bathroom for lewd conduct.
Roll Call magazine.
Lewd conduct? I usually only ever hear that word thrown around when it involves a minor. Is this guy a pedo? Is he a little kid diddler? Is he like, I don't know, 80% of Hollywood? Yeah. Yeah. I think we should hang you in Times Square, homie. Really.
Broke the story a month later about his arrest, and the truth would come out to set Larry Craig free. Because who really was Larry Craig, the Republican senator? Yeah, he was in that barbershop quartet called the Singing Senator.
Oh, lewd applies to adults too? Weird. I've only ever heard that term thrown around when it comes to stuff dealing with minors.
Where he sang lead vocals with 4 other Republican senators. That's real.
My heart's on fire.
This is not your typical ad for makeup.
But it's
or
an ad
auto
nonetheless, so
insurance.
you can get fucked to the moon.
Or
Bye.
Elvira.
He also sat on the board of the NRA.
As many of you know, I have been a life member and on the National
Of the dick-sucking committee.
Board of Directors of the National Rifle Association since 1982.
But the reality was that Craig was just a massive hypocrite.
And we won't let the Venezuelas or the Nigerias or the Saudi Arabias or the Irans jerk us around by the gas nozzle.
He had a long
Poor choice of words right there, man. Very poor choice of words. You like a good jerk. Yes, you do.
Or the Irans jerk us around by the gas nozzle.
He had a long, extensive, girthy, thick, wide history of voting for anti-gay policies. For example, he voted in the military's Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, which, don't ask me about it, because I'm not going to tell you.
Policy was criticized for forcing military personnel into secrecy and for falling short of total acceptance of their ability and right to serve in the military.
He also voted to ban same-sex marriages, unions, and partnerships. This part I think is messed up. He even voted yes on a bill that wouldn't allow hate crimes to cover sexual orientation. So being caught with your pants down, cruising for men in an airport bathroom.
Cruising is what 2 men do in a public place to initiate sex. It's completely anonymous. Rarely would a name be changed.
While you advocate for traditional family values, it was a bit awkward for him. So left with no options, Larry Craig would come out and deny everything, with his wife at his side, mind you. Craig would open up his public denial with no Freudian slip by saying, "Thank you for coming out today."
Thank you all very much for coming out today.
Which I think is funny. Maybe you don't, maybe I do. I don't know.
I do.
Nothing wrong, and I
Coming out? Yeah, you came out all right. But like, I don't know, fucking 60 years too late.
regret the decision to plead guilty. While I was not involved in any inappropriate conduct at the Minneapolis airport, I am not gay. I never have been gay because I am not gay. I love
Why are you gay?
my wife, my family.
So the Minneapolis police, they weren't too happy about Craig's public denial because this would contradict that plea agreement he had signed when he got arrested, which that document states the court will not
He probably said, fuck that, I'm a senator, you can't do shit to me. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
accept a plea from anyone who believes they're innocent. So to counter Craig's denial and set the story straight, the police interrogation recording was released to the public.
And he looked like an even bigger fucking fool. And, hold on. The interrogation statements were released to the public. You know, those statements that he made and told nobody about. Not his wife, not his kids, not his constituents, not nothing. Yikes, bro. Yikes.
Anyone who believes they're innocent. So to counter Craig's denial and set the story straight, the police interrogation recording was released to the public. And, it's pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. You do anything with your feet? Position them? I don't know at the time. I'm a fairly wide guy. I understand. I tend to spread my legs when I lower my pants so they won't slide. Okay. Did I slide them too close to yours? Did I looked down once your foot was close to mine? Yes. Did we bump? You said so. I don't recall that, but apparently we were close. Well, your foot did touch mine on my side of the stall. All right.
Now, Craig claimed that his foot came into contact, or may have made contact with this undercover officer because he was a quote-unquote pretty wide guy. A comment that would haunt him for the rest of his life as Larry Wide Stance Craig. Now, maybe you're thinking to yourself, maybe he did have a wide stance. He was a big guy. Maybe this cop who arrested him was out to make a quota. Maybe you believe Larry Craig is innocent. What if I told you that this wasn't the first time Craig was caught in a sticky situation? Craig has been denying he's been gay since 1982. 1982. Two 17-year-old boys from the Congressional Pages program, it's like an intern program for high school kids, make allegations of sexual abuse from the older members of Congress with the younger interns. Now, the FBI would step in to investigate these serious claims, and they speculated that it involved up to 15 members of Congress.
If you could put a number on the number of congressional employees that you may have direct knowledge of involvement in illicit activity, how many would that be?
Direct knowledge, 15 to 20.
Though these people were not named publicly. So here's a little tip. Generally, it's best to avoid making public denials about accusations, especially when the person that they are accusing is unnamed. But apparently Larry Craig never got that message because he was the only congressman to issue a public denial.
Persons who are unmarried, as I am, by choice or by circumstance, have always been the...
Why do a public statement about someone who didn't even name themselves? They were anonymous. And he tried to get ahead of it. No pun intended there either. He tried to get ahead of the situation by making this statement, even though the accusations came from an anonymous person. And when you do something anonymously, whether what you're saying is true, it still lacks credibility because there's no name or face behind it. At the end of the day, it's just words, and it becomes a case of he said, she said. Why he felt the need to defend himself at this particular time in this way just screams guilt. All the other people were just like, I didn't have anything to do with that shit. And if I did, I'm not fucking saying anything. I'm just going to look guilty if I do. This guy's an idiot. And you're a senator? Jesus Christ.
The subject of innuendos, gossip, and false accusations.
Now, there was only one problem. Those two boys whose tales of sexual abuse set off FBI investigations and Senate Ethics Committee hearings, a year later, had admitted to making up the entire story.
An FBI spokesman said today that so far the Bureau has not been able to corroborate.
You could have just shut the fuck up, not said anything, and it would have just... But you put yourself in the spotlight on purpose. You put yourself in the line of fire, and there was no fire, thus sparking the question, why did you even need to speak up in the fucking first place if it was false? People make claims about politicians all the time. People make shit up about politicians all the fucking time. And these politicians are just like, give a fuck, bro. It's not true. I don't give a shit. Not to mention, I'm a millionaire. I don't give a fuck. So it's like...
charges that Congressional Pages.
He got mad that he was accused of being gay. He got mad that someone dropped his name. He got mad that someone put his name in the mix of all of this. Really. And if you're not gay, why would you get mad if someone called you that? It's only the closeted motherfuckers that get angry.
have been pressured into sexual activity with members of Congress. And the spokesman said it's not a widespread, organized problem.
So Craig had denied something that no one had even accused him of that didn't even happen at all.
Yeah. Idiot.
Okay, now this clip is funny. In the 1990s, Bill Clinton was getting berated for the Monica Lewinsky scandal. So Larry Craig would go on air and say this about President Clinton.
Bad boy, Bill Clinton, you're a naughty boy. The American people already know that Bill Clinton is a bad boy, a naughty boy.
Sounds to me like someone likes to be called a naughty boy. But here's one of the craziest parts. So
I'd call him
1
cut him
month
black
before
there.
he was arrested in that bathroom for cruising for men, the Idaho Statesman newspaper, the state that he was a senator of, was doing a 5-month investigation into over 300 accusations of Larry Craig having liaisons with other men. Some is going far back as 1967. But it gets even crazier. They'd even interviewed Larry Craig and his wife about all of these allegations 3 weeks before he was arrested. Oh my God, his wife. I feel bad for his wife. Now, one of the most credible accusations was a donor who had close ties to the Republican.
His wife knows. His wife knows. Any good woman worth having that's worth the fuck and has any kind of self-respect or values would not stand next to this man. She knew. She knew. Just like Hillary Clinton knew that Bill Clinton was banging the entire fucking staff. Like, she fucking knew. And when it comes to these wives, bro, they latch onto that money. They latch onto that power. They latch onto that status. They latch onto that lifestyle. And they're not going to let it go for fucking nothing. For nothing. She fucking knew, and
Party, and he said that he had witnessed Larry Craig with multiple unnamed men doing things I can't say here at the Union Station men's bathroom, which, if you didn't know, is quite the hotspot for cruising. And also, if you didn't know, Union Station is a few blocks away from the Senate. Now, of course, when asked about this, Craig would just openly deny it. He said, "I am not gay. I've never been in a restroom in Union Station having sex with anybody. I am not gay, and I never have been." Now, another man said that Craig had cruised him at an REI store in Boise, Idaho in 1994. Craig responded to this allegation, saying, "I've been in this business 27 years in the public eye. I don't go around hitting on men, and by golly if I did, I wouldn't do it in Boise, Idaho." Out of all the things you could say, why would you say that? I wouldn't do it in Boise, Idaho. Okay, dude. So with Larry Wide Stance Craig gaining national and even
for a senator, he's a terrible liar. Good Lord.
worldwide attention, he was just the laughingstock of the town in 2007. Late night comedians are ripping him apart.
So, sir, you really are serious about keeping your seat in the Senate?
Oh, absolutely. I still feel that I can be of service to the men and men of Idaho.
The men and the men. This is a relatively older story and like an ongoing situation for the past couple of fucking decades, and I'm just finding out about it now, which is kind of crazy. But
if you're interested in applying for an intern position with Senator Larry Craig, here is the official application announcement.
Be proficient in Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint. Have a distinguished brow, firm-set jaw, strong but knowing hands.
I think it should be called My Wide Stance.
My Wide Stance. And even Hassan's uncle, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, ripped Larry Craig apart.
Larry Craig says, I don't know what you're talking about. The playing the footsies? I just have a wide stance in the bathroom. Wide stance Larry Craig.
He was Wide Stance Larry. And all of this scandal really came at a bad time for Larry Craig because he was up for re-election soon.
Damn.
So when you're getting hit from the left for being a hypocrite, you're getting hit from the right for not living his true traditional family values. I mean, Mitch McConnell.
That's the worst place you can be as a politician. That is the worst place that you can be. You fuck up so bad that both parties hate you. It's okay if you're a Democrat and Republicans hate you. That's fine. Normal. It's okay if you're a Republican and Democrats hate you. That's fine. Par for the course. But when Republicans and Democrats are giving you the fucking business, bro, you done fucked up royally. Holy.
McConnell even called his acts unforgivable. Imagine Mitch McConnell calling you unforgivable. It's gotta hurt really bad. So on September 1st, Craig would announce to the public that he was gonna resign from the Senate a month later on September 30th. You know, with sadness.
Why would you resign if you're not guilty? Why would you resign if you didn't do anything wrong? Why would you resign if you really are not gay? Why would you, if none of this, your resignation screams the most guilt.
Some regret and for the goodness of the American people. And everyone was clapping. Everyone's like, cool, you're gonna resign. But our story isn't over, because just 3 days later, Craig had a change of heart. He actually withdrew his resignation and pledged to the American...
He pulled a Brett Favre. I'm retiring, I'm not retiring, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring. Bruh.
Clapping. Everyone's like, cool, you're gonna resign. But our story isn't over, because just 3 days later, Craig had a change of heart. He actually withdrew his resignation and pledged to the American people that if he could get his conviction overturned, he wouldn't resign. I mean, this guy had no shame. So the day he made this pledge...
Hold on.
Overturned, he wouldn't resign. Pledged to the American people that if he could get his conviction overturned, he wouldn't resign.
But they wanted you to resign, regardless of a conviction. You are a NRA supporting Democrat or Republican that's anti-gay, and you got caught with your hands in the cookie jar. Nobody wants you. You're a hypocrite. Nobody wants you whether your conviction is overturned or not. And on top of that, no one wants a politician that's convicted of anything, bro. You should be the squeakiest clean motherfucker on the planet. None of y'all are, but that's what they portray, right? And you failed at portraying that. So, bye. That no one wants you, bro.
I mean, this guy had no shame. So the day he made this pledge to the American people, he had an army of attorneys filed a motion to withdraw that guilty plea that he had signed. Which also, mind you, it is near impossible to get a guilty plea overturned in the United States.
Idaho Senator Larry Craig looked...
Once you say something, bro, it is essentially written in fucking stone. That's it. You can't backtrack. You can't go back. Once it's out there, it is out there. That's it. It's like posting shit on the internet. Once you post it, it's there forever. And it will not change, no matter how much you cry, complain, beg, plead. It doesn't matter, man.
Looking to reverse his guilty plea in an airport bathroom sex sting.
Craig wants his sexting guilty plea thrown out.
He'd promised to step down. Now he's reversing course.
Senator Craig is refusing to step down.
He's changed his mind about stepping down.
But with a team of $500 hour attorneys and the senator's political pull, for sure, they can get this guilty plea overturned. I mean, that's what America's all about, baby. Get this thing overturned.
Idaho Senator Larry Craig has lost his latest attempt to withdraw his guilty plea following a men's room sex sting at the Minneapolis airport.
The guilty plea was still upheld. After spending $213,000 on attorneys and PR people within a month, he was still guilty of lewd.
Those attorneys played the fuck out of this guy, bro. They knew that shit wasn't gonna get overturned, right? And attorneys, lawyers, and all that stuff, they're only ever going to take cases that they know they can win and that they know they're going to get paid for. In this case, they were going to get paid regardless. So I feel like these attorneys basically just went through the motions with this guy. And we're just like, oh, yeah, and this and that. Okay, yeah, I got you, blah, 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 blah. And then they were still going to get paid, and they were still going to make money. And you were still gonna look like a jackass, and the verdict was still gonna be the same. They played you, bro. They played you. Well, in the words of DJ Khaled, you played yourself, and more importantly, you played with other men. So
conduct in that airport bathroom. Now, Larry Craig said he was a man of his word, traditional values, that he was going to resign for the good of the people if he didn't get this conviction overturned. So would he resign from the Senate? Of course not. He would serve out the rest of his 15 months left in his term and retired on January 3rd, 2009.
Thank you very much.
And so, Senator...
Disgraced. Disgraced, bro. It's like, yikes. Didn't go to jail. He's probably... his retirement's gonna be chill. But, nothing really all that bad happened to him. Didn't go to jail. Didn't lose a shit ton of money. But you lost your credibility. You lost respect. You fell from grace. Like, and some could say that's worse than the latter. So, especially in the world of politics. So, damn.
Larry Craig goes down.
But Craig's comedy of errors doesn't end there.
Oh my
Seven
God.
investigates found the former congressman was still spending campaign cash after his public service had ended.
Because a couple of years later, Craig was investigated and sued from the Federal Election Commission for illegally using campaign funds to pay for his...
Okay, now you definitely might be going to jail. Holy shit, bro. The...
$213,000 attorney bill that couldn't even fight off his guilty plea, and was told he had to pay it back because it was an ethics thing, which is one of the rare cases I've seen where someone actually gets penalized for some missing campaign money. Now, you may be asking yourself, what's Craig up to these days? He just couldn't leave Washington. He loved it too much. So today, he is a lobbyist for the lumber industry, where he advocates for the destruction of forests and Mr. Beast team trees all across the United States. And it's really the perfect job for any disgraced politician.
He works around a lot of wood. Makes sense.
Now, this story is ironic. The whole time he was copping a feel, he was actually feeling a cop. But in all seriousness, let's talk about the one lesson to take away. Whether you think he's guilty or not, talk to a lawyer. Never sign a guilty plea without talking to an attorney. He should have never signed that. Now, I'm not making fun of Craig for being gay or closeted or maybe he's bisexual. It's more of a hypocrisy of his
You're a
morals.
hypocrite.
And I found this quote from an openly gay member of Congress that sums up Craig's situation nicely. You have a right to privacy, but not hypocrisy.
Yeah.
During the period that I was closeted for 7 years, I was always a gay rights supporter. It's a violation of principles to vote one way and act another. Now, before you leave...
And even if it's backwards, just like that guy, you're still a hypocrite. Really. And that's one thing that the American people do not like. They don't like hypocrites. They don't like being lied to. And they don't like... They don't like the Senate seats being made a mockery, really, essentially. So,
if you want to support me and get more content like this, go to my Patreon. It is banger.
All right. Well, let's read the top comment. He's not gay. He's just so faithful to his wife, he refuses to sleep with another woman. So many homophobes turn out to be secretly gay that I'm nervous I'm secretly a giant spider. This quote becomes reality every single day. And that's the case, bro. Like, the most angriest ones, the most intolerant ones are the gayest ones. And it's just like, bro, this isn't... And some of these guys and gals, like, this isn't the fucking 60s anymore. This isn't like the 40s, 50s, and 60s where you walk outside being gay, someone might beat the shit out of you, bro. I feel like we have more gay people now than we ever have in the history of this nation. And it's fine, bro, but he was probably like, I gotta keep this quiet because I'm a Republican and I have to maintain a certain image, and you're just a fake bastard. And you should be removed from your position just for being fake and just for being a hypocrite. No one likes that. I mean, legally, I don't think there's a statute to remove you from being a hypocrite, but the people are going to make sure that you resign. The people are going to make sure that you fucking leave. And you didn't do yourself any favors with the straight community, and you didn't do yourself any favors with the gay community. The gay community probably slammed you for this. They probably slammed you for being a hypocrite, just like the other fucking side. Just like straight people. The straight people are mad because you're like, you talk about family values and all this stuff, but you're out here cheating on your wife. And then the gay community is like, you're anti-gay, but you've been gay this whole fucking time, you piece of shit. And voting against our rights and our freedoms and all this stuff and making life harder for us and all that stuff, like, fuck you, right? So he got fuck yous from both sides. And it's like, yeah. And when it comes to the court of popular opinion or public opinion, it doesn't matter how powerful you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter your status. You can be broken. You can fall. But like very, 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 very fucking far. And that's exactly what happened to this guy. It's shocking to discover that a politician is a liar and a phony. I know, right? Shocker. We were bamboozled. Oh, Lord. Can't believe you lied. I can't believe you didn't tell the truth. I can't believe you backtracked. Oh, no. Right? It's like, we all know this. I was friends with a gay guy in high school. He was bullied by a guy for being gay all the time. I ran into him years later, and he told me he saw the guy dancing with another man at a gay bar years later. That's it. They're insecure. They're insecure, and they're mad that... I think they're mad that they are gay. Really. It's like, their thought process is, I'm gay... and I fucking hate that I'm gay, right? Because I don't want to get looked down upon. I don't want to get made fun of. So I'm just going to impose my hatred of the way I feel on someone else who is open with their sexuality and happy with their sexuality, because I'm not fucking happy. And if I'm not happy, no one else is allowed to be happy. That's why they do that. That's why they behave that way. I usually feel sorry for people who get publicly made fun of. I don't. But this dude had it coming. I actually feel bad that his upbringing, society, and peers made him hide who he was and how he is. Clearly the man is gay, but is so fearful of the consequences of coming out that he makes himself look ridiculous, denying that he is every single time. It must suck having to live a lie for your entire life to win over the opinions of others who could care less about you or your happiness. That's the thing, bro. And if you're one of these people that like, take this congressman or take this senator, for example. You could have come out as gay. Bro, when it comes to politics and when it comes to the American people choosing their representatives, they don't care what you do. They don't care if you're a pole smoker. They don't care if you're a carpet muncher. They don't care about any of that. They just care about your policies. All they care about is, what the fuck are you gonna do for me? How are you going to help me? What are you going to do for my neighborhood? What are you going to do for my town? What are you going to do for my state? That's all they care about. You should have came out fucking decades ago and no one would have cared. If you have good policies, you got a good brain, you got good ideas, you have solid ways of implementing your ideas, people will vote for you. People will support you, man. So I never understood the need to hide it. Like, oh, if I don't hide it, then I won't get votes. If I don't hide it, then I won't get elected. If I don't hide it, then my career's over. No. And in recent times, that's far from the fucking truth. Really. And in these times, people will fucking praise you, call you a goddamn superhero, and raise the goddamn flag at half-mast for you. Because that's what we do in this goddamn country sometimes. We make little insignificant shit bigger than what it really is. So if you would have just came out, there would have been, you would have garnered a brand new audience, brand new supporters, and brand new fans that you never would have dreamed of having had you come out as gay. Because apparently in this goddamn country, coming out as gay is more brave than serving in the fucking military. That's how people look at it some fucking times. Like, oh, you came out? It's not a revolutionary thing anymore, and coming out as gay is not special. But there was a time in this country where coming out as gay, people would praise you. people would prop you up on a pedestal like you were a fucking god, right? So had you just done that from the beginning and been up front and then like issued some sob story like, all my life I lived in the closet and I felt miserable and I'm just trying to be happy, so I'm just here to tell you that I'm gay and blah, blah, blah. Bro, you would have had a couple of ignorant people that have been like, oh, fuck that guy, I'm not voting for him. But then you would have had a whole bunch of more people that would have been like, nice job, man. Nice job.